Hi, Josh.
Hi, how's it going?
Not bad at all. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you for the interest, and I'm very happy that I'm here today with you.
I'm very glad to be able to do this interview and be able to talk about some amazing new music from Scar of the Sun with Inertia coming out next Friday through Napalm Records.
Thanks very much. I really, I'm honored for the fact that you like the new album. And I'm really hoping at some point to be able to come over the States and tour. This is a dream for us. I want you to know that.
Oh, I would love to see that happen, and I would love to be at any show where that could be a possibility. I mean, especially when you just look at this album in particular and just seeing the growth of the band, especially over the last 5 years since the last album. I just love everything that's going on here, from the atmosphere to the ebbs and flows of the album to the singularity where it all fits together so very well, and even having things interconnected like the Quantum Leap Zero trilogy within the album. I just love everything that's going on here.
You can imagine how happy I am to hear these words, man. Oh, I'm honored, honestly.
Oh, I'm glad to be able to say that for you, and just show that great representation, because you guys did amazing work, and I'm really excited to see what the fans are going to be thinking about this, both new and old, when this eventually does come out next Friday through Napalm Records. I mean, it's been quite an interesting past year, and knowing that there's great music on the horizon is such a great thing to be able to have right now.
Thanks, man. We are also waiting to see what is going to happen and what's the reaction is going to be. Also, because this is the first album that we're releasing through Napalm Records, and this is the first time that we're going to have the opportunity to reach a wider audience, which we really don't. We never had the opportunity to do that so far. So, we're just anxious to see as well how is this gonna go.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you can get someone like Napalm to be able to back you and find that amazing piece of the band that they want to be able to help promote and get out there on tour and do promotions, do some amazing videos as well. I mean, it's got to be such an honor to be have someone like Napalm behind you.
Big time. And this was for us. It was a purpose, it was a target. We were always aiming to be, on a roster of such a label, because we all know that it's very important to have a serious record label next to you, in order to promote the album in the best possible way, and in order to give you the opportunity to get out there and tour as much as possible and reach as many people as possible. Because when you are in a smaller label, in a way, releases go unnoticed, and sometimes this is it's very sad,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm so glad that you're able to have the kind of reach that you are now with Napalm Records, and being able to come back after 5 years, release an amazing album like Inertia next week. And, like I was saying before, I really love seeing the progression that's happened in the band since the last album. And, just like, obviously it's been a bit of time in between that, but, just like seeing the songwriting and the production and everything that's going on with the band. I mean, I really love where the band is at right now.
Thanks so much, man. Honestly, I feel so honored by your words.
And I'm glad to be able to give them to you, too, and I absolutely mean it. I mean, this is absolutely stuff that's right up my alley. I love the ebbs and flows that's going on here, and I love a good variety of music, and when a band is able to have that central core sound of what they're all about, but they're able to experiment, whether they're doing something more atmospheric or doing something more heavy, or being able to hit all these different kinds of territories, I mean, that's something that I'm really into, and it's great to see that really fleshing out more and more within the band.
Yeah, we find it very interesting as well to change emotions, and sometimes be more atmospheric and melancholic, and sometimes be more aggressive, and sometimes being more complex, or sometimes being more accessible. It makes things more interesting for us as well. It's not that we're doing that on purpose in order to as a plan or something. It comes naturally because we like to listen to music that it's like that as well. It's very nice that we have now the opportunity to experiment both in our sound but also in regards of the songwriting because it takes some time to reach that level. When you start, you are always more limited and you think you know everything, but it takes experience and time to understand and realize a few things. Also, it takes a lot of experience to see how songs work better on shows, because for example in the first album we just composed songs the way we liked them, and it was very nice to listen to some of them, but they never worked really well on shows. Whereas now the songs we have on this album, at least 4 of them that we played on a tour before the release, they work very well live, and we're really looking forward to be able to get back on the road and play these songs, as much as possible.
Yeah, that was one thing I was definitely going to say about this, is it feels like the entire album, I mean, even with interludes, like Hydrogen, like starting off the album, like even having that as part of like the backing track or opening, like it feels like the entire album could be played in that live setting. It would go over so well.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I don't know if the other guys are sharing exactly the same opinion, because usually, at least so far, I never saw them. I'm talking about the rest of the band. I didn't see them wanting to play the entire album, but this one has a flow, as you said. So I'm pretty sure that whenever the idea will be thrown into the band, we'll think about it more seriously. And personally, I would definitely love to play the whole album, start to finish, exactly the way it is. I would definitely love it. And I'm gonna try to pass it to the other guys as well, so maybe one day we'll be able to do it.
Well, you definitely got my blessing for that one, because I'd love to see that happen. But, until the meantime, when that happens, I mean, you can pick out any songs off this album and it feels like they would work in that live setting. And it's great to see that you were already trying the songs out before the album has come out, to get that initial reaction to see how they are.
Yeah. We had the opportunity to do a Latin American tour supporting monuments from England. And there we played 4 songs, the 2 first singles, the 3rd single, and the 4th one, which is going to be a lyric video for the song Anastasis that will be released almost 1 week after the release of the album. Now the 3rd single is coming out in 5 days. And it's for the 2nd song of the Quantum Leap Zero trilogy. It's the song Transition to Turbulence, which is probably my favorite song on the album.
Oh, that's incredible. And, I'm glad to see that trilogy getting represented in some capacity with the single. I mean, just like that is one of my favorite songs off the album as well. And it's great to see that getting that representation, and knowing that Anastasis is going to be getting that representation as well with a lyric video coming up after the release of the album.
Yeah, Anastasis. I'm glad you mentioned that song also, because it's a very special song for me, and it's definitely the heaviest song in regards of emotions. It's a very emotional song. It talks about the loss of my mother-in-law just a few days after my marriage with her daughter. It was a very, very hard period for us, because one day you're arranging beach parties with your best friends, and a few days later you're arranging everything about the funeral. And believe me, this is very, very heavy, and I would never wish anyone to go through exactly this order of things. So we wanted to pay tribute to the memory of that woman, and we wanted to do something very nice about it. And I believe that when the lyric video will come out, you will like it very much, because this is also going to be another very nice video, even if it's going to be a lyric video.
Oh yeah, and I do love that about today's age, where it's like you're able to get the backing to be able to make official videos, which is awesome to see. But the fact that you can still make lyric videos as well too. They're a little bit cheaper since you don't have to go out and film and everything, but they can still look absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, they serve a purpose. It's nice to have a combination of a few nice videos and a lyric video. These days that the visuals are very important, and especially now with the pandemic, they are even more important. It is very good the fact that we're gonna have 4 videos coming out of this album. It will help the album a lot, if you ask me.
Oh, I definitely agree, and I'm very much an album guy, though. I mean, I do love listening to albums from start to finish to see how everything flows together, and, if the whole album has a purpose or it's just a great collection of songs, and, being able to do something like this where you're able to have 4 singles off the album, and 4 very different singles at that. I mean, you might be able to get people of all different kinds who might have heard one of the first singles, but maybe they'll get on board with Anastasis, or maybe they'll get on with a transition to Turbulence, or you never know how that's going to go.
That's absolutely true. And I'm with you 100%. I think that the songs that probably are a bit closer to each other is Transition to Turbulence and I Am the Circle, but all the other songs are different to each other and to the other 2 songs. So having 4 singles, you will give a very good picture of the album to someone that is gonna get in touch with the band probably for the first time, or even for the older fans. Having 4 singles that they are different to each other, it's giving a good idea to someone of what to expect on our new album, and it will help a lot because different people can be related to different songs, and they might check it out just because they like one single. Definitely it will help for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing that I think is going to help so much is the amazing work that's been done with the artwork for this album. I mean, I love the colors that's going into it. The more that you look at it, the more you're able to see all the detail that's going into it. And it's just a very striking and appropriate album cover for what this album is about.
Thank you very much for that. We also believe that this is the best cover we had so far. All the covers and the videos are made by a guy called Achilles Gatsopoulos, which is a director and a graphic designer, and he worked on even on Hollywood movies. This guy was the original drummer of the band, and he's my best friend. So he's in a way the 6th member of the band, and he did everything, all the covers and all the visuals we have from the beginning of the band to this day. So as you can understand, we have a continuity on the style of the covers, and we always wanted to create our own identity. So next time you will see the next Scar of the Sun album, you will know directly that it's a Scar of the Sun album without even checking out the logo of the band. You know what I mean? So he's got the tendency to make very detailed covers, and especially on this album, it will work even better because the album is going to be released on vinyl for the first time, and on vinyl you can get the whole you can appreciate 100% a cover because the cover is bigger, and this way you can check out better all the details that sometimes they're getting lost whenever you have a CD, or even worse, a small picture on your phone through the digital platforms. But for those that are gonna get the vinyl, it's gonna be very interesting to be able to see all the details in the best possible way.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, and, it's so great to see that this is getting that vinyl release. I mean, obviously for the sound quality and another way to get the music out there, but, for that album artwork, like you were talking about, I mean, I think it's such a great thing to still be able to focus on that artwork, especially when you got someone as talented on your side that you have in Scar of the Sun, and, just being able to have something like that on vinyl and just being able to hold it in your hands and seeing the quality that's there, that's going to be amazing when you finally get to pick that up.
For sure, and to be honest with you, we knew that this album is going to be released on vinyl, so Achilles went into designing a cover that would show better on vinyl. We always wanted to release vinyls, even on the first two albums, but it was quite expensive, and our previous label didn't want to get into that. Now, before the deal with Napalm Records, we have been approached by another label in order to release the first two albums on vinyl, but we didn't do it because the deal with Napalm Records was almost finalized, and probably they would be interested, if this album goes well, probably Napalm Records would be interested to release the other two on vinyl as well. But we knew that this album is going to be released on vinyl, so we had that in mind when the cover was on the making.
Oh, it's great to be able to have that hindsight, or that insight that's going to be going into that, and, really being able to focus on that. That's just incredible. And, along with that, obviously being able to craft the songs the best that they can possibly be, and having the visuals that are able to really make the song stand out from that visual point of view. You've also done amazing work when it comes to behind the boards, when it comes with your your studio, and being able to work with amazing bands and really getting that really awesome proper sound for Scar of the Sun, and just like continuing to see that progress that you've done with other bands, and here in particular. It's great to see the studio really flourish and everything getting better and better.
Thank you very much for that. It's really important for me also, the fact that people like the sound of the album. Because, at the end of the day, even if let's say that the band, the album is a flop, and nothing happens, this is my job. And it's very important for me to improve and make good sounding albums. So whenever this album will come out, if people like the album, this will get me more clients. So it's not just the fact that I obviously want to have a great sound for my band. It's also that it's part of my job. Whatever happens, this is gonna be my job, and I have to improve not as a singer only, but also as a sound engineer. This is what I do every day, and I think that especially on that field, because there are so many good producers out there today, you have to do your best in order to be able to be part of the circle of the good producers. So I'm really glad, I'm extra happy when I hear people telling me that they really like the sound of the album.
Oh yeah, it's something that really strikes me, and it's great to be able to hear that production and just everything that's on there, because the loud parts are at that perfect volume. The low parts really make you pay attention and see what's going to be coming up next. It's that great dynamic range that really needs to be focused on more in music, and you're absolutely nailing it.
Thanks so much, man. It took a lot of work, and to be honest with you, I had to mix the album twice because I didn't like very much the first mix that I did a couple of years ago. The album was ready from 2019, actually. So I did a home mix last December, and I reached the level of the sound that I really wanted, and I definitely did the best I could do with the material I had. So you can imagine how important and how serious it is for me when people enjoy all the details, because also the band has a lot of details. It's not a straightforward band, so you need to be able to listen all the nuances and all the details, and this was a very big challenge for me, and I'm glad to hear that people dig the sound of the album.
Oh, very much so. And when you have so much on your plate too, when you're making the songs, you're singing, you're behind the boards, you're producing, you're mixing, it's sometimes good to be able to get those other ears on the album as well too, and that's why it was so awesome to see that you got Jens Borgen on there to be able to help master the album and just getting those final touches, because he's really known for being able to work with such dynamic bands, and it feels like it was a perfect match for the band.
Yeah, the result is definitely exactly the way you describe things. The first idea about working with Jens Borgen came actually because he's into this more organic and warm sound that I call personally modern vintage. On the other hand, I am more of modern. My approach is more modern on the production. So I wanted to have a balance between my modern production and his more vintage but organic at the same time sound. So when I sent him the album and he sent me back the mastered versions, I was blown away. And honestly, I didn't change anything. Most of the times, bands ask for some changes on mastering, but the songs were coming and I was like, perfect, not directly. First draft, perfect, nothing else. That's it. We will release it as it is. It's perfect, you know.
Oh, and that's got to be such a great feeling, too. I mean, especially when you're outsourcing your music to be able to get some final touches done on something like the mastering, and you're able to get that first draft back, and it's exactly what you wanted it to be. You didn't want to change anything. I mean, that's got to be such a great feeling in and of itself.
It was a great feeling. It was also a huge relief because many times when you're sending out an album, when you mix the album and you're sending it for mastering, many times you get a distorted final outcome. And I am personally very sensitive with what I'm going to get back from the mastering engineer. Now, it's not that all of the times I am responsible of choosing the person that will master the album that I'm mixing. But with my band, I was able to do that, and I'm so happy because I don't think that from now on I'm going to change a mastering engineer after the work that Jens did for our album, you know. Whenever you find a good mastering engineer, Jens is not only a good mastering engineer, he's a great producer overall and mixing engineer as well. But his result on the mastering here was outstanding, and I don't want to change a mastering engineer, to be honest with you.
Well, I can completely understand that. And, you know, thinking about that as well, you know, just like everything going in the right direction for Scar of the Sun, and, you know, just seeing Inertia coming out next week through Napalm Records, and, you know, obviously being in a territory like Greece and being able to have like a really eclectic metal scene that's over there. I'm glad to see that right in the beginning of the press release, you got, you know, words from Rotting Christ and Septic Flesh, like being able to support Scar of the Sun, and it's great to see those kinds of bands working together like that, because it's so important to have that metal community just like being able to work together and build, and it's great to see that in the Greek community.
It's happening, especially with the bands that have worked very hard for many years. Rotting Christ are legends. They started everything for the Greek metal scene. They opened the streets and the highway, actually, not just the street. You know, they opened the roads for the Greek bands to do something outside Greece. It was the first band that got signed to a big label, and they worked very, very hard for many years until they reached this level. So we have a huge respect. Same goes with Septic Flesh. I have to say here that I'm their sound engineer for the last 6 years, so I'm very, very close with the guys. I have toured. I did all their tours for the last 6 years, but I also recorded their last 2 albums. So they know me very well, and they know how hard I have worked throughout the years. And they were next to me whenever things were happening, both negative and positive. So they were very happy when this deal with Napalm came finally. Now, with Rotting Christ, I'm not that close. I know the guys, obviously, but it's not that I'm hanging out. But they have a huge... We had the opportunity to play live together. Are you still there,
Oh,
Josh?
yes.
Because I see a bad connection.
Oh, I can still hear you, yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Last year, the last show actually we did, it was as a direct supports to Rotting Christ when Moonspell had to cancel their show in Athens. So despite the fact that we come from quite a different background, it was very nice to see Rotting Christ appreciating you as much as a band. So Sakis was very happy when I told him that we signed to Napalm Records, and when I told him, you know, would you like to listen to the new album, he directly said yeah, and he actually did it. So we are honestly very, very honored by the words that came from Sakis and from Seth from Septic Flesh.
Oh, it's incredible to see that. And, it's amazing how those opportunities can come out. Just like a cancellation can lead to a great spot opening for a great band, or being able to do engineering work and being able to produce albums for Septic Flesh, a band that obviously is vastly different than Scar of the Sun, and just being able to have those great connections and just being able to add more to your palette, whether it comes to production, mixing, mastering, songwriting in general, and just listening to music and just having all those great aspects coming together. I mean, it's incredible to see all the work that you are able to continue to do, all these great shows that you've been able to do, and hopefully when things continue to keep getting back to normal, those live shows, and just being able to get back out there and really give this album the proper live promotion it deserves.
What you said is also very, very important. All my work with all these bands paid off. I got so much experience out of them, not only in regards of the sound or songwriting, that, as you said, is very, very different, but also on other things, as things like how to behave and how to be serious about what I do, and how to be looking ahead and not behind, and trying to improve in every aspect, being professional. The less from all that you can never get in a university or anywhere else. It's unbelievable, and the work and the experience that I got from all these is priceless. And I'm very happy that I had the chance and the opportunity to be there. Because all these things are helping you grow one way or another. It would never happen all that for me if I wasn't next to bands like that and other bands at the studio, like Firewind, for example, or Night Rage, or Suicidal Angels. Every single band gave me lessons, and I'm really glad that I used them the best possible way and improve.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And honestly, like right now, I can't find a finer example of that. I mean, being able to have all those experiences and being able to use them for yourself and being able to grow something of your own, like with Scar of the Sun and with Inertia, because, just like seeing everything from that progression into what the band is right now is just absolutely paid off. And just like all the incredible things that are happening right now with being able to make real music videos, the lyric videos that's going to be coming out, 2 more singles, being on Napalm Records, the album coming out next Friday, just seeing all these great things happen. It's just so awesome to see everything that's happening, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. Hopefully some American shows, or just shows in general, hopefully in the near future. And, it's been awesome to talk to you about all of this and be able to talk about such a great album as Inertia.
I'm very happy that you see it like that, because since you cannot do much anymore, it's important for us to get good press, because you know very well, if we get the good press at the States, that will be creating a lot of interest about the band, and this way it will be easier for us to come and tour. The problem with the States for bands from Europe is that the expenses are very high. We don't really care about that. We just want to come over at the States and play. I don't care if, I don't expect to be a millionaire or whatever. I just want to find a way to come over and tour the States with Scar of the Sun. This will be a dream. We're just going to be working for that. And I'm pretty sure that Napalm Records will back us up on that as well. But yeah, for now, it's important to get good press and create interest. So this way that we will have offers for tours and shows at the States whenever the touring will resume, if everyone is safe, first of all.
Oh, absolutely. And, a part of being that press, I'm so honored to be able to help promote a band as great as Scar of the Sun, and being able to get new American ears, and hopefully around the world too, being able to check out the band, check out Inertia when it comes out, checking out the singles that are available right now and coming up. And, just like all this time we've been talking, I mean, it's been a great honor to be able to talk to you, have a real great conversation with you, being able to promote the band, being able to promote about your work behind the boards, and I thank you very much for your time.
Your help is more valuable than you can imagine, honestly. You're just thinking that you were talking to me, but this is a very big help for Scar of the Sun, and I really appreciate it. So I want to thank you very much one more time, and honestly, if you see us being on a tour of the States and we play close to you, just send me a message for sure, man. And we'll get you the show, and we would love to have the opportunity to talk face to face and have a beer together and, have a good time with music.
Oh, that sounds absolutely incredible, and I'll definitely take you up on that when that opportunity comes.